Alrighty, the subject for today's video is going to be the Holden Kingswood. It's got a little problem with its fuel system. That is a flat spot on acceleration. So it means the carburetor either needs adjustment or something in the accelerator pump needs fixing or unclogging. So we'll pop the hood and I'll get it started and I'll show you what the issue is. Looks like it's lost fuel prime since I last started it, which was only 2 weeks ago actually. Well, the oil's over full, so we're good there. Right, we've got fuel prime. We'll try and get it going. I'll show you the flat spot because I've just heard it then. What I just did there was put it on full throttle. So I do it again. That's full throttle there. So it's got a big flat spot in it. That's only lightly, press it on the throttle. And then I'll push it full throttle again. There you go. It's got a big flat spot in it. So we'll try and fix that up today. Yeah. Right, so first thing to come off is going to be the carburetor, because obviously that's probably the thing that's wrong with it. Well, that's what's causing our problems. Well, I think it's the accelerator pump. The accelerator pump sits up in here and it's operated by your throttle. It has a valve in there. Oh, sorry, not a valve. A jet in there. A discharge jet or discharge tube, I think that's what they call it. It sits up in this vicinity, and actually, sorry, it's on the other side. Never mind. But yeah, I have a feeling that might be clogged, or it could be something else that I'm not real sure of. Possibly a sticky accelerator pump. I don't know, because it can stick up. That, or it's leaking somewhere. But I don't know, we'll find that out when we pull the carb apart. Right, so any of you who have been with the channel for a while will probably notice this carburetor, or a lookalike to this carburetor. That's because this is the same as what's on the Land Rover, as a Land Rover has a 179. So this carburetor is the same overall design, other than a couple of changes. I think the jet sizes are a bit different in Land Rover's one compared to this. But yeah, it's the same. It's a Stromberg BX. I don't know whether this is a UV-2 or just a UV. Someone will probably point it out to me in the comments. But yeah, it is a single barrel Stromberg. So quite a common carburetor for these old Holden red motors. But nonetheless, really reliable and really easy to work on, which is a good thing, something that I like. But anyway, it does need a bit of work. As you may have seen, I was putting this little choke or throttle advancement lever, which goes from the choke flap up here down to the throttle lever here. I it keeps falling out, so I reckon I'm just going to drill through the actual rod itself and put split pin, not split pins. Oh yeah, split pins. Sorry, yep, yes, split pins was the right word. Split pins through there, so it stays in place and doesn't keep falling out. So we'll pull this carby off and we'll fix it up. Out of the way. Ooh, that's a bit tight. That's better in there. Oh shit. The needle and seat's loose, but the bloody fuel fitting's tight as. There we go. Tighten that needle and seat back up. There we go. So this is a problem we're having with the Land Rovers. This one here is a needle and seat, and that kept getting stuck in the Land Rover. So we had the old one kept getting stuck, and then I bought a new one and that kept getting stuck. And the one we've got now is currently doing okay. But yeah, there'll be a bit of a fuel mess. You watch. Or not. Maybe not. Bugger all. Yeah, really nothing. That's pretty rare. Anyway, that's good. Well, we've now got everything we need removed, and that thing has just removed itself again. So we'll just take off our oh shit, that stud's spinning in the actual housing. Right, so we've got the old Strommy laid up on the bench here, and my apologies for calling it a BXUV. It's actually a BXV-2, but it is a BX-2, so I was somewhat correct. It's just a later carburetor, which is probably for the 202, I think. But anyway, sorry, the 3.3 engines. But yeah, so we need to fix that. Just drill and split pin that. This whole shaft assembly needs tightening up and lubing, because it shouldn't be that hard to open and close. It should be opening and closing really easy. That's probably why the throttle's so hard. Oh, sorry, not the throttle, that's a choke. That's why the choke's so hard to operate from the carb. But yeah, nonetheless, all the throttle gear seems to be quite tight, which is good. But I reckon I might just pull the whole carb apart anyway. It's probably the best I can do for it. Pull it apart, put a new top gasket in it, and then see what else needs to be done. Possibly all the bottom gaskets and everything need doing. But yeah, it served this old car good, so I think I should treat it to some love. That's the old carb cleaned up a bit better, or at least to a standard that I'm happy with. So I'll start pulling it apart now. Get it going. So I reckon we'll start with this top cover first, and then we'll move our way down. Right, so I've got the carby here. Just pulled out the plugs from the back where our jets are. This plug here, so in there is the main jet. You can hear the float bulging about, so I reckon we take this top cover off now. And that was loose. Yeah, there's a couple of things wrong with it that need to be fixing, so it's probably was the right thing to do, to take it in the workshop and give it a bit of love and attention. Yeah, we'll pull this top cover off and get that all fixed up. There we go. Alright. So that there is our accelerator pump. That's what I believe could be what's faulty in here. But nonetheless, I will pull all this accelerator pump apart and give you a look at what it is and what's inside it. It's pretty simple. It's just a piston comes out of a ball. But yeah. Alright, we'll pull this gasket out, and I'll try and fabricate a new one of them. This one looks pretty thick actually. Should be easy to fabricate that, or it's rubber. It might be a rubber gasket. Maybe. I don't know. Push this little clip out of here. That'll release our accelerator pump to be pulled out. Have to undo the lower end here. Yeah, a little clip down in here needs to come out. So there we go. Just take that off, and then our accelerator pump should be able to slide out of there, like so. There we go. That's our little pin. So I'll now pull this the whole way out. Oh, it's a bit tight. Maybe that could be something. Maybe the accelerator, the plunger might be getting stuck. And we have our spring and our piston, which is in here. And the piston doesn't look the best. Anyway, that's what I believe to be the power jet. So I'll check that one and make sure that's all unclogged. And then if it is, we'll leave it there to be put back in, I guess. Now I'll clean this needle and seat up as well. We'll get some toothpaste and a couple of... Oh shit, that's tight. Ow. That took a bit of my finger with it. Yeah, I'll clean this up, put a bit of toothpaste on the a cotton bud, and then I'll use that to polish up the needle, make sure it's all nice and drops in and out freely, because that's what it should do. If you hold these in your hand, you should be able to flick them up and they fall out in your hand like that. Let's fix that. So yeah, it should be able to just do that, but this one runs a bit rough, so I'll get the cotton tip and a bit of toothpaste and I'll clean that up. Then I'll probably should check the float height as well. It's probably not a bad idea. Drop that back in too, because that works. Okay, now we'll clean up this plunger here for the accelerator pump, so it doesn't look the finest. Pop that back in and fix that up. That's good and tight. Right, that's now cleaned up to a standard that I'll accept. So push that in. Seems to be quite nice, so I'll just oil it up a bit. Make sure it's nice and lubed when it goes back in. That way it can operate freely, because this might be part of our problem. Might be sticking. Yeah. Stick some WD-40 down there, I reckon. Here too. There we go. That choke's working nice now. Well, I think that looks good enough for my liking. The carb cleaner actually did an awesome job of cleaning that up. So now we'll clean out this body in here and see if we can't get that any better. Just got the idle tube out here, and this seems to be clear. Alrighty, that's our needle and seat cleaned up. So I'll put some oil on these threads. And then I'll thread it into the housing. Next we'll check our float heights and make sure they're correct. Now if we check our float height now, or our float level I should say, what we have to do is put a ruler there and lift the float up to where it lightly hits the needle and seat. Oops, hold that bugger up there. Reel it high. Well, actually, alright, perfect. We're looking for 4.3, roughly 4.3 millimeters to be able to get a perfect height, and it's sitting at about 4.3, so I'm happy with that. We'll leave that. I guess now all we got to do is put the bugger back together. Alright, it's getting a bit late, but I've, as you can see, got all the carburetor bolted back on. It's all done up tight. All the nuts, all the bolts and screws around the top cover are holding it in. It's nice and clean, as you can see. A lot cleaner than it used to be anyway. We've got a new gasket on there, so we should be able to test it out and see how it goes. I don't think it'll get rid of the flat spot problem. It might run a bit better though. Who knows, it might actually get rid of the flat spot problem, but I think we'll have to adjust the actual carburetor itself. So now that we know it's all cleaned out, there's no blockages, it's all down to adjustment now. So I guess that's what we'll have to do. Anyway, we'll try and start it up now. Got the battery leads all in. It'll probably take a bit because the bowl's empty of fuel, so, but we still have considerable fuel for iron, so I doubt it'll take too long.